Hello, my name is Klemen Pečnik, and with colleagues Žana, Juvan and Anže Zadravec, we are all coming from Laboratory for Multimedia, Faculty of Electrical Engineering, University of Ljubljana. Video production systems for video conferencing and distance learning solutions have been evolving for many years, but the real need for them emerged with the worldwide pandemic. We have all been using different platforms and equipment as a substitution for regular in-class education. But despite wide usage of the equipment and platforms, there are still many things which could be and should be considered when developing an appropriate equipment bundle to support e-learning or video conferencing. While turning on the camera and sharing the slides is a piece of cake, or at least a slice of a pie, for most learners many issues may arise when it comes to a whiteboard, graphic tablets, extensive movements during the lecture, experiments, and other aspects of education where the usage of different tools and application and even a lot of hardware is included. In some cases, when one would like to equip some rooms for many different scenarios, from simple lectures with no movements to sophisticated live broadcasting and promotional events, there are a lot of possibilities. Platforms, types of events, combinations of materials, approaches, and many other aspects should be considered prior to equipment purchases. Even affordance, quantity, and quality of the content are very important. In our experience, we could say that there is a universal equipment bundle, but actually that would be a lie, because there is no universal bundle. Selection of the equipment should be based on purpose, technical needs, limitations, resources, budget, maybe staff requirements, and so on. We found out that for us, multimedia engineers, almost everything is possible. But when expenses are rising and when some lecturers have less or no multimedia or computer knowledge, there are additional considerations to be made. Well, especially about the simplification and what the user would instead of could use, and how they will handle the final setup. And last but not least, there is a question: do we need additional staff to support such happening? For project purposes, we prepare templates for 6 equipment bundles, from the very basic one to the professional bundle. Each bundle can be used in many different scenarios, but there are of course some limitations. With the basic bundle, we included there something that we all have. Actually, we all have a smartphone with additional lighting and stand. Of course, also some stabilization equipment could be used. And yes, this is a really basic bundle, but it is available, affordable, and it can be used for distance learning lecturing. There are many different suitable accessories here to be used with the basic bundle, and of course many different brands of the equipment, from the smartphones to the stands and lighting. The personal bundle is upgraded with the standalone camera and a computer, laptop or desktop. It is recommended to use at least 2 monitors, where the primary screen shows the supportive content like PowerPoint notes, guidelines, or the video conferencing grid, and the secondary is used to share the content, as in this case on the projection screen, or to be shared to be the remote participants. Even portable tablets here, or graphical tablets like Wacom ones here in the picture, can be added. This bundle tends to be used for a simple lectures with slides and a speaker to be seated behind the table. But when it comes to a lecture room and hybrid lectures, or even events with whiteboards and different standing or sitting positions included, the need for an adjustable camera and a variable microphone arises. On the other hand, a personal ring light is not a useful option anymore, since there are no fixed position for lecturing, and of course lighting is usually already in the room. Of course, there also are some additional converters and stands and maybe other equipment that could be used within this bundle. When a lecture room becomes bigger and distances for a USB cameras are too long and USB connections cannot be used anymore, although there are various different extenders available on the market, we have to switch to a more advanced setup. Here, PTZ cameras are used to record the lecturer. All devices should have SDI or even better NDI connections to combat larger distances. While other equipment can remain the same, we can just switch or change the cameras to support the appropriate standards and connection options. In this case of more advanced video conferencing or hybrid meetings with an audience, chair and presenter, multiple cameras should be used to capture the happening. From an economic perspective, it is a good idea to equip big or medium lecture rooms with same types of camera, which can then be combined in one system to support larger events. Since multiple cameras are used, a video mixing system has to be added, as well as a remote control and optionally more microphones. Besides that, there should be at least 1 or 2 additional staff members to support such cases. The Going Pro bundle is everything mentioned before, multiplied and upgraded. Video and audio mixers are mandatory, preferably hardware ones, not the software. Additional control room, and of course additional staff for each role in order to control everything. Such systems can become quite complex, although in some cases at least some basic automation is possible with smart room control systems or other more affordable solutions like Stream Deck keyboard and Beat Companion. And of course, with the Pro bundle, a lot of additional equipment can be used, like green screens, additional light sources, tablets, even e-whiteboards, additional softwares and hardware installed or used during the lecturing process. For this bundle, there are no predefined options or models, since they have to be adapted to a lot of circumstances. Even the change of the camera system is causing an additional change of the camera controller and so on and so on. So a lot of hardware can be changed due to some additional limitations. There are a lot of cameras today available on the market with different specifications, connections, protocol, and standards supported. It proves to be a big challenge when deciding what to select. From this perspective, we can outline some of the most important ones. When we are building a multimedia system for lecture room to be used with different events and hybrid lectures, we should consider a lot of things like layout, dimensions, positions, even additional monitors at the back. Of course, here we can install and use a lot of different kind of cameras, but if the room is small, we can zoom in just enough to show also the details on the whiteboard. But if the room gets bigger, or it is bigger, and we cannot zoom enough with the same camera in order to show details on the whiteboard. So from this perspective, we should change the camera, or at least lens systems of the camera. Also, there could be various positions in the lecture room for the cameras, and we should consider also light sources like lighting or windows, or even some screens or projectors. So they shouldn't get in the way or in front of the camera. While in the lecture room, if it gets bigger, we can also adjust the number of the cameras to be used and place them in accordance with the number of cameras. So we can use, in example, from 1 to 6. So there could be one camera on the wall showing the front of the room with the wide angle. So this camera can also be controlled. So PTZ camera can be controlled, and we can adjust the viewing angle to show the close-up or some details on the whiteboard. But we should be careful with the moves since we have only one camera. With the two-camera system, we should take into consideration also 180-degree rule. This means that all the cameras should be only on one side, and in this case, as we can see, we can show the front of the room and back of the room, or the audience or participants in the room. With the cameras on a side, on the left or right, can also be used in order to show some presenter from sides, but not on the both sides of left or right, only one of this. With 4-camera view, we can show the front camera, the participants, and 2 different angles of the presenter, or one angle of the presenter and the whole whiteboard at the back, so details on the whiteboard. But of course, when we are talking about where to place the cameras, we can also use different positions. So we can use cameras can be mounted maybe too high or too low, and in these cases, presenter could be inferior or superior, and we don't want to have that. So we should use the angle, normal angle, which means that camera lenses should be on the height of the presenter's eye. So in this way, this would be the most appropriate way how to do the broadcast or e-learning content. With the PTZ cameras, we can control the camera movement in pan, tilt, and zoom, so we can adjust the image or the framing in a manner that it would suit the best for the audience, or we can combine that picture with the slides or other content. Within the PTZ cameras, there are usually, or in some cases, options to use also tracking systems, so we can track the presenter, or the camera can track the presenter by itself. We should just define the area that the camera should show and the tracking zones, where and how the camera should track the presenter during the presentation or lecture. In this regard, there could be also possible, it is possible to define in some cases zones. If we define zones, we can also change the type of tracking. So in zone 1, the camera should track the presenter. In zone 2, the camera should only show the whiteboard. And in zone 3, we are assuming that the presenter would sit behind the table showing something on the computer, so it should just lower the angle and show the presenter himself. There are also a lot of options and a lot of things that can be achieved with the projection screen and projector, with taking into consideration the minimum and the maximum distance from the projection screen, moving the screen away from the windows in order to get the greater contrast ratio, and to have more possibilities to combine presenter slides, so PowerPoint, and the whiteboard tables. And last but not least, it is very useful if you could build in additional screens in the rear of the room, so in the back, or actually in front of the presenter, whether on the first tables or on the wall, so the presenter can observe the slides, so it decreases the need to turn back to the projection screen. And on the other monitor, we can place video conferencing grid, or maybe some notes or other things that could support lecturer during the lectures. Last but not least, I have to say that these are only few facts that need to be considered when building a multimedia system for a room like this that we have here. So I would kindly ask also my colleagues to show the room, how it looks like, where we have a lot of different screening options, a lot of monitors, and even microphone combinations. And of course, I only mentioned a few issues about the video. There are also issues about the audio, how to silence, how to suppress the noise, where to place the microphone, or whether we are using variable microphones or ceiling microphones, which can capture sound from the whole audience. So with this in mind, we can say that multimedia equipment for video conferencing systems is quite an extensive job, or it can be a very difficult to build without the prior knowledge what this equipment will be used for and what are the dimensions and options in the lecture room. So I hope that you enjoyed the presentation, and looking forward to see you soon, and goodbye.